guys. Okay?
This is the Lord.
Yeah. Sunday morning church. Kids church.
Kids church. Kids church.
Don't touch the mic, bud.
I think that this is paint.
I know. You ready?
This is the day.
Faster, one more time. This one's a lot faster. You're the one that wanted to do this. So. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Are we done?
Do you want to sing another song or do you want to go?
Are you swimming?
After?
Okay, you still for one more. I like both of them.
Holy fire, burn away.
I can't see you guys.
My
Because it's turned
desire
off.
for anything that is not of you, but is of me. I want more of you and less of me. Sing Holy Fire. Holy fire, burn away my desire for anything that is not of you, but is of me. I want more of you and less of me. Empty me, Lord, empty me. Why don't you pray for the kids, Josh?
Dear Jesus, thank you for everything. Thank you for this whole church, and thank you for. Thank you found this. Thank you for this dying for us. Bless for the homeless. Bless for them to have money and not be homeless anymore. Bless them to have food, shelter, and water. And you pray, amen.
Good morning, little friends, and welcome back to Big Church for Little People. We are in a different part of the garden just for a little bit because we have a lot of sun today. So I hope that you're staying cool indoors. I hope that if you have pets, they have lots of shade and water, because it in our little town is going to be really hot this week. But we are glad that you're tuning in today. We are going to talk about our next fruit of the Spirit. But before we get into that, I wanted to do a little bit of a review. I know that we have already talked about love, joy, peace, patience. Who remembers the fruit of the Spirit that we talked about last week? Kindness. Yes, we talked about kindness and what that fruit of the Spirit means. When we have God in our heart, He helps us to show kindness to others. But what was the fruit that we talked about with kindness? I'll give you a hint. It started with a K, just like kindness. Yes, it was the kiwi. Now, I don't know how many of you like kiwis, but Miss Selena loves kiwis. And when we opened it up, we saw all the little tiny seeds inside of the kiwi. And that reminds us of the little tiny things that we can do every single day to be kind. Now, kindness is a choice. You choose to do that. And when we have Jesus in our heart and He changes our whole world, it's a little bit easier to be kind to those people, no matter who they are, what they do to us, and in any different circumstance. So we are going to get right to it. We're going to talk about our very next fruit. I just wanted to say I miss you all first, and we are so glad that we can talk about Jesus online. Even though we don't get to see your face, we still get to study God's Word and find out what He has to say to us in His Bible. And so we are definitely going to tackle one of those things today. Now, our next fruit, let me give you a clue. It's a little different color than the others. It's a bright color and it's yellow. Anyone have a guess? Yes, we are talking about the banana. And the banana is one of my favorite fruits. Now, I know I say that every single week, but guess what? Miss Selena loves bananas, and I love fruit to begin with. So this one is extra special. It is bright, bright yellow, and we're going to talk about a fruit of the Spirit that kind of goes with the banana. But did you know that when we eat the banana, we have to do something first? Do you know what it is? We have to peel apart these extra special layers on top, and the goodness of the banana is inside. Now, I almost let it slip, but what do you think the fruit of the Spirit is today that we're going to talk about with the banana? It's goodness. Now, yes, I did say goodness just a second ago, but that is because I am reminded of God's goodness when I look at this banana, and it's because in order to enjoy this banana, we have to peel out and off all of these layers, and the goodness is inside. Now, another reason is this bright and sunshiny banana, the color yellow. It is such an amazing color, and it goes back to God's Word, which we're going to talk about in our memory verse, about letting your light shine. Now, when I think of sunshine, I think of the color yellow, and my friend here, the banana, reminds us of that, because God shining through us is what we call, one of the things we call goodness. And we're going to talk about goodness today and what that means. But I just want to know, if you love bananas, make sure and send us a message online, because I want to know who our My Banana friends out there, I know each and every one of you in Kids Church, we love to enjoy our snacks. And so there's often times where we've had bananas and different fruits. But this week, our friend Banana is going to help us talk about God's Word and what it means to have goodness in our heart. Now, set my banana down. And we are going to talk about what it means to be good and have goodness. Now, I don't want there to be any confusion. Goodness and kindness are kind of very close, the same. So we have worked hard on being kind this week, and I know that you guys have done such a great job of showing kindness, not only to your friends, but to your family. And those little acts of kindness go a long way. Shows people that we love God and that we have our very big best friend in our heart. Now, goodness, I like to say, comes from inside. You have a good heart when we invite Jesus into our life. He begins to change us from the inside out, and we become good people. Now, that goodness inside, sometimes I like to think of when you have a choice to make and you know right from wrong, you choose the right thing. It's the good desire inside of your heart to do the good things. Now, there's lots of people who do good things every single day, but the reason that I want to talk about goodness is when goodness comes from your life, and after God has been working on getting your heart all cleaned up, the goodness comes from a very special place inside. And when we have goodness in our hearts, we share this goodness. We do these good things because we want to. It's like the goodness comes from our life, out of a special place in our life, because we want to do the right thing. We want to show goodness. We don't want to have any other reason for it. We don't do a good act or an act of kindness so that we can get something out of it. That's not the right reason. When we have goodness in our heart, it's doing good things. That goodness is coming out of our life because we want it to. There's no other reason. There's no other way that we're going to do those things, only just to glorify God. We want to make God happy. We want Him to be smiling at us when He's looking down on us and seeing all the things that we do every single day. The goodness in our heart that we do is because we want to do good for God. No other reason. So we're going to talk about goodness in the Bible. It's a little hot out here. I'm sorry. In the Bible, there is a story about a woman named Esther. Now, Esther was a Jew, and she fell in love with a king named Xerxes. Now, they got married, and so this Jewish woman named Esther, she became the queen. Now, when you're a king, you have people that do your work for you. You have lots of servants and stuff like that. Well, King Xerxes, he had a right-hand man. His name was Haman, and he was not very nice. He did not like the Jews. He wanted to punish all of the Jews, and he definitely wanted to kill them, which is a horrible, horrible thing. But guess what? He did not know that Queen Esther was a Jew. Now, she had two options. She knew in her heart she was one of God's people. She was a Jewish person. And was she going to tell the truth? Was she going to say, I'm a Jew, and speak up and say something? It could have cost her her life. She could have been in danger as well, because what the right-hand man does for the king, he gets stuff done. That's why he's one of the main guys. But Esther had a choice to make. She decided she was going to speak up. She was going to do the right thing. And she said and talked to her husband, King Xerxes, and she told him, I am a Jew. I am a Jewish woman. I am one of God's people. And things changed. When she told the truth, things changed for all of the Jewish people. They were no longer slaughtered. She saved the rest of her Jewish people, and nobody was killed. You see, if she might have been quiet and she might have been silent and not said anything, those other people and probably her family members may have died. But she chose to do the right thing. She listened to the good in her heart, and she shared that. She told the truth, and it saved a lot of people. The Bible is full of stories to where we can look and see something that happened and we can take and use that in our life. So I want you to think about goodness this week. I want you to think about that little voice in your head to where you know the good that you ought to do. And I want you to do it. That's also in the Bible. But I want to share with you, and I want you to share with me the stories of goodness that you have taken part in this week and that you've maybe even seen out in, life, on TV, a little story of someone saving, an animal. I always think that's a good thing. But you need to know that goodness comes from our heart. And when we talk about the goodness that God gives us, it starts to come from our heart and shine out through our life. That brings us to our memory verse this week. We are going to the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, and it says, "Let your light shine before men, so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." You see, when people look at us and they see that what we do, and they see the goodness that comes from our life, or the love, or the joy, or the peace, those fruits of the Spirit, when they see that in our life, they see Jesus. That is what our job is to do. Our job is to let our light shine so that people will see Jesus in our life. Just like our verse says, when people look at us, they see our light shining bright, they know, and it glorifies our Father in heaven. Now we are glad that we can do these things together. It's like we're a team for Jesus. And when you do your good works and you let your goodness show from your heart, you want to do those things, remember. You want to do them just to be good. And that desire to be good is from God. And that's because He's changing our heart from our inside of our life. Because we have decided that He's going to be our very big best friend. Now, before we go, I have one other thing to share with you. When I was in the garden earlier, I found something, and I know that you're going to think that it's very cool too. But there's a reason that I'm going to show you, so hang tight. I'm going to get a little closer so you guys can see, because I know this guy is very special. This little guy was found on one, actually I saw him trying to crunch a very tasty leaf from my tomato plant. I believe this is a hornworm. And look at how big and amazing he is. So when you see these guys, you definitely don't want to be mean to them. Miss Selena doesn't want to be mean to them. But they are damaging and not a good thing for Miss Selena's garden. So what we're going to do, we are going to find an extra special place for Mr. Worm. And we're going to put him somewhere else because he cannot eat our tasty snacks. He cannot eat our tasty leaves. And he is going to not do good, but he's only going to be damaging to our tomatoes and plants that we have here growing in the garden. Now, small note. In our life, just like Mr. Worm, there could be things. Also, I'm going to point out, there could be weeds. There could be weeds or worms in our life that are not doing us very good. Now, these things, I like to say, might be some bad habits. They might be a thing that we've gotten comfortable doing. Maybe we have a bad attitude, or we say things that we shouldn't say. And those kind of things can be bad for our life. Just like Mr. Worm here is bad for Miss Selena's garden, we need to take these worms and we need to take these weeds out of our life so that our life can continue to grow in an amazing way. Now, be on watch, be careful, and recognize when you have little tiny things in your life that shouldn't be there. We need to get them out, and we need to make sure that they don't come back. They may sometimes look cute, but they're definitely not made for continual growth, and that's what we're doing. We're growing with God and for God, and with His help, He helps us every single day. So we will see you guys next week. I'm so thankful that you're here. And remember, showing goodness this week. We'll check up with you later. We'll see ya.